Hey everybody, welcome back to another Next Level Lawn Care video. So we're back over at my parents' house here, and if you haven't been following along, first of all, you should be, and hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to show you the process of taking a lawn that is struggling tremendously back to something that's beautiful, that you can be proud of. And so we started this project over here kind of midsummer. This lawn was completely overrun with weeds, and there's some big patches out here that I'll show you, but we've killed off the majority of those weeds. About 2 weeks ago, we came out here and we power raked with this cool little lawnmower blade attachment thing here. So this lawnmower blade attachment is called the Arnold Power Rake. And what it is just a regular lawnmower blade that attaches to your lawnmower, and it's got these little plastic tines, and they give you some replacement ones that you feed through these loops, through these holes on the blade, and then those drag across the surface of the soil, and they rake everything up. What's really cool about this one is it's got a cutting blade on it, and you can bag with this at the same time. So you're kind of like killing a couple birds with one stone all together. And so what this thing does, and I will only recommend that you use something like this in a few different types of scenarios. This being one of them, where the existing grass is thin or full of weeds, because these are highly aggressive. They will tear out everything in their path almost, including the majority of the grass. So one of the coolest parts about this system is you can, with this Arnold blade, you can dethatch. You can even technically mow a little bit because it is a sharp blade. So for instance, right now I mowed this 2 days ago, and now I'm coming back and trying to dethatch it. So I'm taking, an 1/8 of an inch back off the top of this, up to 1/2 an inch in some areas back off the top of this. And then it's just ripping all of this junk out of here, which, yeah, there is a fair amount of green grass in here. It's aggressive, but there's a lot of dead stuff in here, and there's a lot of dirt in here, which is very ideal for a situation where you're going to be overseeding. That means we're getting in here and we're scratching up the surface of that dirt, making it loose, which is going to help with our seed to soil contact. So after we got this all power raked up, we went back over it with the grass seed, and then we just used the Scott's starter fertilizer on this. And it's been 2 weeks. The grass is starting to pop up. It's starting to look good. It's going to start filling in quite a bit more over the next, 2 weeks. We'll get past that sprout and pout phase, and it'll start looking a lot better. But it's already looking pretty decent from a distance, at least. HGT stands for Healthy Grass Technology. And I selected this specific cultivar of Kentucky Bluegrass for a number of particular reasons. As you can see, this massive tree right here, this massive ash tree provides a ton of shade for this backyard. For probably 3/4 of it gets shade every day. This HGT in the National Turfgrass Evaluation Program performed incredibly well in a number of areas, including drought tolerance, shade tolerance, and wear tolerance, along with all of the disease resistances, summer patch being a big one for Kentucky Bluegrass. It's rated #1 across all these areas. In the 65 different categories, it placed first in about a little over 30 of them, and very, very high in the rest of those. Now, the only thing that it doesn't really rate great for is color. It's still going to be a beautiful grass. It's still going to be nice dark green, but it's not going to be as dark as some of your, midnight Kentucky Bluegrass or something like that. So it's going to be a very low maintenance, in a sense, Kentucky Bluegrass, except for it spreads like crazy and it grows pretty well too. This is one of the fastest spreading Kentucky bluegrasses that there is. So in the Turfgrass Evaluation Program, when they put this HGT in their test plots, it actually started spreading and taking over all the other elite Kentucky bluegrasses around it. So that was one of the big reasons why I chose to go with this. There's a lot of existing grass here, but I actually want this Kentucky Bluegrass to take it over and slowly kill off the rest and kind of smother it out and just be, eventually it'll just be Kentucky Bluegrass out here. And every year we'll keep overseeding with this, but this is just the start. So let me show you around the yard a little bit, show you what we're working with. We've got germination. It started popping up about 5 days ago, very, very lightly, and it's slowly starting to come up more and more and more. I think part of that problem was at the time that we seeded this, the weather forecast showed that the next day it was supposed to start dipping down into the mid to upper 80s and then slowly tapering off over the course of the next 10 days into the low 80s kind of time frame, but that was a complete lie. It actually stayed about 95 to 100 degrees for about the next week and a half, about 10 days. So we were fighting some tremendous heat over here trying to keep this grass seed moist and allow it to germinate and not die as soon as that high heat hit it. But it is slowly filling in. We overseeded the whole yard with this Kentucky Bluegrass mix, but this is starting to come back. It's starting to look better. So all the areas that were like just solid weeds that ended up turning into solid dirt, they've got little bits of grass popping up in them now with this Kentucky Bluegrass. And it's definitely, so this Kentucky Bluegrass is definitely in its sprout and pout phase right now. It came up to that 1/2 inch mark and it's just stayed there for about the last week. I came over and checked on this 5 or 6 days ago and it hasn't grown since then. So we're in that sprout and pout phase with Kentucky Bluegrass, but I really expect this over the next couple of weeks, now that we actually are into lower 80s temperatures daily now, to really start taking off.